By the spring of 2024, you're going to see a really strikingly beautiful building be put up in Montreal on Robert Bourassa Boulevard. I was just, perusing the news over the last week, and I saw a story about a new Montreal tower. And when I saw the artist renderings, I said, wow, that is a striking building. There's a design element where it kind of seems like a canoe shape is sort of like sculpted into the building. I said, geez, I wanted to know more about this project. Turns out Quebec's Cree community is to thank for the project. The building is a first step towards a new revenue model. What does it mean for Quebec's Cree community? Let's find out. Derrick Neeposh is on the line, president of the Cree Regional Economic Enterprises Company. Derrick, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Elias. How are you?
I'm doing great. Listen, I mean this, looking at these renderings, and I'm just struck about just how beautiful this project is. Aesthetics aside, design aside, tell our listeners about this project and why it's so important.
Yes, hi. I'd like to welcome all your listeners today. Creeco and Cogier partnered on this project. It's been in discussion for a number of years. At the beginning of our development, our search for partners, was a very long process, and Cogier was our choice. Given their reputation and experience and their willingness to work with us, was very attracting, and I believe this is the beginning of a very fruitful relationship with our partners. At the beginning of our process of deciding to develop a project of this size and magnitude, was a first for Creeco. Creeco is a parent company to Inu Realty Properties, and this is the real estate arm of our subsidiary. And this process involved architects, that came up with the design. LeMay was our chosen architect, along with the creativity brought in by a very well-known Indigenous architect, Mr. Douglas Cardinal, who's internationally known and has a very unique skill in terms of displaying Aboriginal culture, and that was the main reason why we had to really show what our culture is, and also to share this with other First Nations, and just setting that example.
And when this building opens up, what's going to go in there? I see it described as mixed use. What's the vision for the building?
Yeah, the mixed use concept was something that was chosen early on in our concepts. It contains office space, some commercial space. It involves the construction of 435 units. It's going to have 171 condos and 264 rentals. Condos will range from about 455 to 1,200 square feet, and rentals will range from 380 square feet to close to 1,200 square feet. So it's a 25-story building, and it will contain a lot of unique features, like let's say for common areas, we're really looking at showcasing, our culture, and also just educating people about First Nation architecture and everything that comes with our unique culture.
We are with Derrick Neeposh. He's president of the Cree Regional Economic Enterprises Company. Derrick, $100 million project. You mentioned the 25 stories. What does a project like this represent when it comes to, maybe the growing economic might of the Cree community and other Indigenous communities? What does this say about the future?
Well, like I said, it's a very unique project. It's a first of its kind, and we strongly believe that this project will be a footprint for us in the South. There's been a lot of talk about Indigenous reconciliation and whatnot, and I think this project, from the start, we were pushed, by politicians to come up with a very unique and non-generic project, and this is what we came up with. In terms of growth and the power of our company, it just shows that, there are endless possibilities, when we want to go into an area of business, we study it, and we want to make sure that this will bring a good return of investment to our people, in the North.
And Derrick, I've seen, and you mentioned the word. You just said the word power, right? And I've seen this development, this building described as a new symbol of Cree power that will be sitting on a street, right? Robert Bourassa Avenue, Boulevard. It'll be on Robert Bourassa Boulevard, and it's not lost on a lot of people that it was Mr. Bourassa's government that in the 1970s. Built massive hydroelectric products without consulting First Nations. What does that say to you, the location of this, that symbolism of putting this project on Robert Bourassa Boulevard?
Well, the irony behind that, is something that's very political to us, and we're a business arm of the Cree Nation. And, we try to stem away from the political concepts of things, and really focus on the importance of business, on the business, and also on growth. We want to maintain our focus on what this project will bring to our people, to our nation, but most of all to our companies. And it's something we want to look beyond and leave in the past. It's something that's yes, it was very challenging at times, and it did have a negative feel to it at the beginning, but today, we want to look past that and really look into the future and stay focused on the prosperity of something of this sort.
Derrick, clearly an economic impact here for the Cree community, but I'd love to have your thoughts on what a project like this also means for other Indigenous communities, other First Nations in Quebec, in Canada, and about how they can build their future with economic might. What would you say to that?
I think setting an example and just, putting our foot in the door now, rather than waiting. I think, this step forward is just an example for other First Nations to follow. We want to take that lead, and we're ready to share our experiences with other First Nations. We are very open to sharing those experiences and the lessons learned, along the way. This opens up a new opportunity for other First Nations to get involved and, to get started in such projects. Montreal has been known as a very well diversified community. And we're just very proud that we're part of that diversity.
Odea Montreal, the name of the project. Derrick, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I hope people look it up here because the images, the renderings are stunning, and I can't wait to see it become a reality. Thanks so much for your time.
All right, thank you. Have a nice day.
Derrick Neeposh, president of Cree Regional Economic Enterprises Company.